If it's not written right, the best actor in the world can't do anything. And if it's written right, the less you do as an actor, the better it is. Sometimes I'm the most scared showing my films to my mother and my sister because they are my biggest critics. See, no one can say I'm not a good actor, right? That has been proven. I've also won the national award. I've been to the top festivals. I've done very good films. So no one can say that, right?
I love it.
Okay. Savan ki badariya.
Tannishtha, welcome to Film Companion.
Thank you.
And welcome back to TIFF. You are quite the veteran over here. So many of your films have sort of premiered here. What is it about this festival that sets it apart?
I mean, of course, TIFF is one of the biggest festivals, even in terms of the number of films, because it's you call these four, Cannes, Berlin, Venice, and Toronto, the mother of the festivals, and in terms of the number of films and the diversity of films, and I think TIFF is actually the biggest. So obviously it's also the time of the year, so it's always
beautiful.
I'm
so thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me at the waterfront versus like a press room, because this is so
absolutely
stunning.
When you have this, why should we sit in a press room?
This
is so beautiful. It's always in September and the weather's it's never to, otherwise Canada can be so
get
cold.
But
it is the best time of the year, so people love coming here. And it's, I mean, like any other film festival, it's really a place where we get to watch different cultures, meet different cultures, and interact and exchange. And that's the beauty. Yes.
In fact, you mentioned the four major film festivals, and I remember reading that 10 years ago with your film Siddharth, you were one of the only Indian actresses who had been able to take her film to 3 major film festivals in the same year.
Yes, I think at that year I had something in Cannes. I think it was Monsoon Shootout, and then I had something in Venice or Berlin. I don't remember. And then in Toronto.
Amazing.
Amazing. But in 2015, I had Island City in Venice, and then I traveled to Toronto for 2 films, for Angry Indian Goddesses and Parched.
Look at you. But what is it about festival validation that sort of hits different?
I think it's because it's cinephiles, people who love cinema. They talk so passionately about cinema and acting and the craft, and we as artists, we crave for that validation. Of course, the audience appreciation is wonderful. That's nice. That's nice in one way. But when an audience who's also critical likes your work, that's a double validation. Like it's sometimes I'm the most scared showing my films to my mother and my sister because they are my biggest critics, right? So it's in a similar way. In festivals, you don't get the praise that easily, right? Everyone is critical because they're all cinephiles, and when your films get appreciated, your work gets appreciated there, it feels like, oh wow, like
you've done something
right.
In fact, you come here this time with Yellow Bus, which is just such a gut-wrenching tale of motherhood, loss, grief. I was curious to know, as an actor and as a mother yourself, do you at all find yourself dipping into personal experiences to feel pain, or what is your process?
I mean, this film was in many ways a cathartic experience because, I became a mother just 2.5 years before this film was offered to me. And so I knew when I read the script that what I'm going to be able to bring in at this stage of my life and my career would be something really different. But on the other hand, you hit the right note that when you dig into, as actors, something called your emotional memory, right? Like you do see yourself that, oh, if this happened to me, and then you don't want to think about it because it's so heartbreaking.
I can't even imagine.
Yes,
oh my God, no.
Yes, I mean, it's a torturous experience. Sometimes, when I was shooting, I asked myself, why am I an actor? Why do I like doing this? But I think this film, more than any other film ever before, has made me realize why, as human beings as such, we like listening to stories? Why do we want to be a part of stories? Why do we like tragedies?
Did you find answers?
I think what we don't like as humans is monotony in life, right? We need change. And acting and being an artist is such a beautiful way to express and feel things without actually going through it in your real life experience. And I think that's what drives me to be an actor.
Yeah.
That I like that cathartic experience that I'm going through this. I'm trying to feel the pain of a mother who would be in a situation like this. How would she deal with grief? But I am living those moments and coming out of it. So it's I don't know how to explain it. It's a strange thing, yeah.
But the other thing that also struck me is just the loneliness of grief for an expat couple. Because we're used to seeing grief shown so differently in Hindi films, where the family takes over, food is coming in, mourning is big, and here there was. How did you manage to capture that emptiness on screen?
Yeah, I think that was there in the writing as well. That it is not dramatic and sentimental, though it's heart-wrenching and it's wacko also. For the mother's character, there are moments, you've seen the film, that she's carrying this urn, she's just lost it, right? But yet it's not sentimentally dramatic. It's also not that she's fighting a big court case and winning something and bringing justice to her daughter. It's not that. It's so much more personal and internal about her own guilt. Because she's asking herself, why did I send her to school that morning? And then she finds excuses to put the blame on somebody else and something else, because that's what probably would relieve her of some of her grief. And we do that to ourselves with the smallest thing. Like if I destroy a dress with a piece of paint one day and I just feel, oh my God, why did I keep it there? You try to find reasons why you won't blame yourself, right? Like, no, it wasn't my fault. And I think that's what she's trying to do. And then I think by the end of the film, she kind of reconciles and you do.
And the truth is, she has another daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
That whole journey and that relationship is really beautiful. It was very beautifully written. And I always tell, because yesterday after I saw the film for the first time.
Oh.
Yes. And Wendy came to me, my director, she said, what do you think of it? I said, it's so beautifully written. And she said, no, what do you think of yourself? I said, an actor is only as good as the script is. And many years back, I did a workshop with Nasiruddin Shah sir, and he's, of course, we all know. And he said something which every film that I do, I feel so much, truth in it, that if it's not written right, the best actor in the world can't do anything. And if it's written right, the less you do as an actor, the better it is. You just play that particular moment which is written for you as truthfully as possible.
Yeah, because I've seen that many times actors get so caught up in wanting to show that if you have to lift a glass like this, you'll find 10 other ways to possibly do it.
So with Yellow Bus, I absolutely did nothing. Well, Wendy disagrees. She's like, no, when I went to the edit table, I just had choices and choices. You give me this choice. I said, but that was all there in the story. It was there in the script. And I just did I think also through years as actors, as artists, I think it happens to filmmakers as well, that your work becomes simpler and simpler as you grow. I think better and simpler and better, because when you're younger, you're excited with many ideas. You will find that with filmmakers also often. The first film of a maker has so many crazy ideas.
Everything.
Yes, everything, because you want to
Show
do
that
everything.
You can,
yes, as actors also, that's what years back I used to, how to make this scene interesting. Let me try this. Let me try that. Now I don't try anything. I just be. And actually, it's much tougher to do that, and yet to make your performance interesting. Because whatever said and done, just being truthful and honest is never enough. Because it's finally, you are still communicating something with an audience. So even if it is grief, tragedy, honesty, all those things, that honesty also needs to have something interesting in it. But the simpler it is, the more believable it is.
But the other thing, superficial as it sounds, you don't have a speck of makeup on in this film.
Yeah, nothing at all.
I was curious to know how you sort of arrived at this level of comfort in your own skin in an industry that's so often governed by layers and layers of filters.
Yeah.
How have you muted the world and just stayed true to you?
I think that has been the hardest challenge from, you know, these outputs that keep coming, that, oh, you have to look a particular way, and then you're very right. Like Wendy was, I mean, she asked me when we started doing the film that, are you okay? I mean, this is beautiful. This is what I want. I'm like, yeah, because it's going to look so weird if Ananda is moving around with
Like, a face full of makeup.
Yes, yes. And so there was absolutely no hair and makeup for me, except for a few first scenes where, you know, she still doesn't know that has happened. Nothing. And then one like sort of dream flashback. Apart from that, there was absolutely no hair.
Was that
and makeup.
liberating as an actor?
It always is. I've done many films like
Of
that.
course.
And I'll tell you, the most beautiful thing about that as an actor, I don't need to wake up 1 hour earlier for hair and makeup. And I love it. So I always tell my makeup artist,
1 hour more of sleep.
I am, yes, exactly. No hair and makeup for me. Yeah, another film about that. So it is liberating. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I was actually speaking to Tilottama and Konkana Sen, who were
Yeah.
talking to me about what an uphill battle it can be for some actresses to be seen as desirable on screen because of, as an industry, our narrow focus on what is considered desirable.
Yes.
Is that something you struggled with?
Yeah, of course. Like so many films have come to me as scripts, and then finally I wasn't chosen, and the director just said, oh, you don't fit the role. See, no one can say I'm not a good actor, right? That has been proven. I've also
Amen,
won the
sister.
national award. I've been to the top festivals. I've done very good films. So no one can say that, right? कि यार तुझे acting नहीं आती है. ठीक है ना?
I love it.
Okay. So I don't understand. What does it mean that you don't fit the role? What does it even mean? I'm an actor, so I can transform into obviously a range of different things. There could be certain things which are physically probably, you know, there's a particular vision that I understand. But if you have considered me for a role, so that means you are looking at it, right? I'm not physically that way off. फिर तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है ना. So I don't know what it means that, you know, your look is, the thing is like, it doesn't quite fit the role.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, Radhika Apte was actually telling me about how early in her career, directors often thought it was okay for them to ask her to tweak certain parts of her body.
Yeah, so this is something that, you know, especially in terms of skin tone.
Sure.
Even makeup artists have come to me and said, कि ma'am, ये थोड़ा upmarket character है, थोड़ा गोरा मेकअप करना है. You know,
Upmarket
I was
character
like
है.
कि भाई upmarket क्या होता है? नहीं नहीं, पढ़ी लिखी है. Sir, I am also पढ़ी लिखी man. So I've lived in big cities. I have like, you know, traveled the world. My parents are educated. I come from a very well-off family. Oh yeah, I mean there are people who've like said that to me.
How
that
do you respond?
I laugh. I'm like कि नहीं, वो मेरे जैसा upmarket character है. आप स्किन टोन मत बदलिए. So it happens.
Tannishtha, when you were studying film at the National School of Drama and sort of looking to make it a career for yourself,
Yeah.
was this the dream that you had dreamt, or do you feel like Bollywood understood how to exploit your talent?
It has never exploited my talent. I've never been a part of Bollywood. I have never done a single Bollywood film. So all my films have been like this kind, like, you know, more international, more festivals. So it has, I mean, the directors who've taken me in India, they are those directors who make these alternate choices. And so I've never done a single mainstream film.
Have you wanted to change that?
Of course, but like I said before, that, you know, it has always been that you kind of don't fit the role. I don't understand that. So it's been many years that I don't go to directors asking for work anymore. I just find it pointless. But yeah, I've never, I live in Bombay. Sometimes I ask myself, why do I live there? Because I don't do the kind of work that is actually set there. So in between, I had moved to London for a few years.
Sure.
Then, to be honest, the weather just was so cold and so rainy and so grey, I came back. I like tropical weather, and that's the only reason I live in Bombay, I think. I can't take the cold. And in fact, when I came back from London, I was shooting in Bhuj in 50 degrees. And a friend of mine called, and he was having like, it was winters and no, it was summers, but it was like pretty cold in London at that time. He was having a nice barbecue party at a friend's place. He's like, yaar, main iske backyard mein dekh, yaar, wine pee raha hu, barbecue. Tu kya Bhuj mein pagal ho gayi hai kya? Tu Bhuj mein बैठी है? And I said to him कि मुझे actually यही मजा आ रहा है. नंगे पैर भुज में 50 डिग्री में मैं but I was playing a part and I was acting.
But the maza that you were talking about, does it ever like, do you ever want to experience the nakhres of the Bollywood heroine, the running around trees? Is that something that interests and excites
in front of the camera, absolutely. Not nakhras behind the camera, of course. That irritates me, and I can't tolerate it in someone else, and I don't connect to it at all.
I was actually going through your Instagram, and I have to tell you how refreshing it is to see a page that is so not curated.
It is
so
not.
Alag.
In fact, my stylist hates me for that. She's like, oh God, remove all these horrible pictures. I'm like, no, but I don't want to be only seen as someone who's photoshopped, beautiful lighting and perfect images all the time. Like, I'm also a person. And that's what it is.
Yeah. If there's anything that you could possibly change about how we make movies in an ideal world, because who's listening to us?
I know. I hope people are. Make it more inclusive. I think it is getting better. I do think that more women filmmakers and writers are coming in. Also, the kind of vision, like, see, across the globe, the mainstream films are all like boys and guns and goons, right? A lot of it, like many of my male filmmaker friends tell me, "Arey, ye rom-com dekh ke tum bore nahi ho jate ho?" And I ask them, "Ki ye guns and goons karte karte tum log bore nahi ho jate ho?" So it's sort of like another guns and goons.
Yes.
So I think like a story like Yellow Bus can be made by a woman filmmaker. Like, it's about motherhood, you know. It's not only about my character, but Kinda's character. It's about family, about the complexities of fatherhood and, you know, sibling relationships, the tenderness to it. It's a very different worldview and cinema language, which I think it's all over the world. It's not only about our industry. We are slowly seeing the change. Because what happens with a lot of producers and financiers who are women, who are in positions of power, but they are still forced to commission projects which are which have ideas which is the male vision of the world, because like 5,000 years of written history has been that, right? You know, when I made my first film, a film called Rome, Rome Mein, with Nawaz in the lead, I shot the entire film in Rome.
Right.
And I was doing a research about the Renaissance period there, and how many fantastic women artists have been ignored completely because your Rembrandts and Michelangelos were the stars, and the church was so patriarchal and overpowering that they never let these women artists flourish. So my story is actually about Artemisia Gentileschi, who kind of, you know, was a breakthrough artist at that point of time, but no one celebrated her till the feminist movement in the 1920s. So it has happened all over the world, and now women are getting their voice, but we're still struggling because, you know, the entire financing system of cinema is still very driven by those kind of stories which have been traditionally looked at as, oh, these are the success, and they are so male in their vision.
Yeah.
Even if they're about women characters. You know, often we say, oh, it is the female lead. But female lead doesn't mean anything. It can be a male lead as well. Like my film Rome Rome Mein has a male lead. But the vision of that story is a woman's vision. So I think that is the biggest change that we need, and that's how casting will also change then. You know, the entire vision of how we're looking at stories, and I think the audience is ready for that change. We see that. A lot of the new stuff that people are appreciating.
Yeah.
So there are different kinds of audiences. No? There's a blockbuster audience, but there's also another kind of audience. So we have to also consider that.
So if we had to exploit your talent, what would it take for us to see you in an Indian film in every sense of the word?
I think it is for interesting directors to explore that. Like, you know, they've seen a lot of my work, then a lot of them know me in person as well. They know, I mean, when I was shooting with some directors, they said to me that, oh my God, this side of yours, which has a lot of humor, we never see it in films. So I'm like, because of my skin tone, I'm always cast in this very serious, heavy roles. And I've done that, I'll enjoy it. But I can be very good in comedy. Give me one.
Thank you for putting that out there.
Yes.
Because the universe is
next one, please.
You know, Tannishtha, your name means dedication.
Yes.
And God knows how much one needs that to survive and to make the choices that you have made.
Yes.
What would you say is one of your biggest challenges right now in just being true to your art?
Firstly, I'm quite impressed that you've done that research. You know, no, most people don't know the meaning of my name. But I think I don't take myself that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And having said that, it doesn't mean that I don't take my work. And, you know, when you take your work seriously means you're taking others' effort and their time really seriously.
Yeah.
The day an artist starts, I feel, taking himself or herself seriously, the growth stops. I think we are just a minuscule part of the universe, and we're just learning and we're absorbing and we're just expressing. We enjoy doing what we're doing, and I enjoy every moment. So there are a few things that I avoid. One is I don't take myself very seriously. And the other thing is
so the
that
entourage is not a thing.
No, not at all. And also I live by the moment, and because I don't know what's there in the future. The past I can't change. I can't change certain things about myself. So it's every moment. And I think acting teaches me that. Acting is a very spiritual process, like I was saying, that you live one moment as honestly and truthfully as possible, and then the next moment is something else. And that's also truthful. So that's how truth is. So if you said something horrible to me, why should I take it? Why should I carry it on? Because that was that truth. The next moment of the truth might be something else. So my art teaches me a lot. And it is a very beautiful profession. It has its ups and downs. But we get to travel, we get to talk, we get to exchange. And yeah, I enjoy that.
Yeah. No, and we have traveled to TIFF, so I have to pick your brain on a couple of film titles that are absolute must-watches for you from this season of TIFF.
I think The Peasants. I wanted to watch that. Some of the Indian films as well. I've heard a lot about the match.
Ladies.
Yeah, Lapata Ladies and the match. Yes.
We're having a great TIFF, I want to say.
Yes, absolutely. This year, I think Indian cinema also is represented pretty well here. South Asian cinema as such. There are some Arab films also. There's a Saudi Arabian film which is quite interesting that I've heard. So, you know, because Yellow Bus is also quite a bit of Arab crew. That was an eye-opener for me, you know, to work with so many women from this world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to, I don't know how much time I'll get watching films, but but Peasants is absolutely, and The Boy and the Heron as well. Great Japanese filmmaker. It was the opening film. I've heard very good things about it.
Excellent. And finally, I don't often do this on the show, but I can't have you leave without singing a couple of lines.
Oh my God, her research!
Will you, in your beautiful voice?
Okay. You should have warned me about this. I would have thought about something. Okay. सावन की बदरिया घिर घिर आए, सावन की बदरिया, सावन की बदरिया.
Oof, can I give you a hug? Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Thanks.
This was so nice. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to me, and have a great festival.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure.